Hello everyone, I'm majicDave and this is Sapiens. So it's been about 3 weeks since the last video, but there's been about 2 weeks of work in that time because the first week there was some good surf and I made the most of it. So yeah, I think you've got to have good work-life balance, and I haven't been working on this non-stop. I do take the odd break, and when the surf's up, I go surfing. That's kind of my thing. So. But I've made good progress in the 2 weeks following that. The first thing that I worked on is the font. So as you can see, there is a new font, and I actually created that from scratch. I sort of decided that the old font wasn't really working, and that I couldn't really find a font that fitted perfectly, that was sort of available. So I thought that I would just give it a go, try making my own. And I've actually recorded a video on that. So this is the font here. I made it in FontForge and used Affinity Designer to create each character. But yeah, if you want to see more details on that, then just have a look on my channel and you can find the video about where I go into detail on that. Okay, so let's just create a new world and see what we end up with and start having a look at some of the new stuff. So I thought it was about time to actually work on sort of the progression of gameplay, get the tribes a little bit more interesting and varied and stuff. So let's just find an open patch with a few people. That's a very small tribe, but as you can see, she's actually got a baby. So the Sapiens can now get pregnant, they can have babies, and the babies can grow into children. So there's a lot more variety in sort of the models and the tribes that you might find, and they're actually paired up into couples, and there's sort of genetic lines, so parents will pass on their genes to their children. These Sapiens have different coloured skins and different coloured hair. Here's a girl Sapien. And if we click on one of them, then we can actually see the tribe relationships. Not clearly yet, obviously I have to fix up this user interface, but so these are a couple, and they have a daughter, and then there's one other guy that's hanging around in this little tribe. So over here we've got a much larger tribe, and how that's structured, we've got 2 couples and another woman, Lily, and the first one has 2 kids and the second one has 3. So before I sort of got too carried away with all of that, I thought that I really needed to make sure that all the modeling and stuff was all good. I thought it was a good time to upgrade to Blender 2.8. and that caused quite a number of problems. Most of the problems that I'd faced were to do with the GLTF exporter. So I'd written my importer for GLTF files a couple of years ago now, I think, and a lot had changed. The exporter had been really modified a lot, and it needed quite a lot of work to just get it all working again. So it's probably lost sort of 3 or 4 days just dealing with all of that. But yeah, now I'm sort of using the most recent version of Blender, and it's really good. It's a great app. There's a lot of improvements, I think, over 2.79. So yeah, I added quite a lot of variety just to sort of flesh out my whole process a bit, and I'll be able to add lots and lots of variety from here. They do have an eye color now. I think they've all got green eyes. They've got different skin colors. It's probably not. There's not a lot of variation within tribes, but there is variation as you sort of move around. And that was an interesting thing, because when I first did that, I thought, oh well, each tribe can have its own skin color, and on the face of things, I thought, that might work. That might be all right. But it really wasn't. The problem is that once you start doing that, all of these guys might have been, dark-skinned, and then over here they might have all been light-skinned, and then you can kind of see what's going to happen if there's any conflict between the tribes. It becomes a racial conflict, and that's just, that's a disaster. I can't have that. So yeah, I was a bit stuck on that a little bit. I was trying to figure out, what I was going to do. But I think having a little bit of variety within the tribe is good, and then having variety just sort of slowly change. So probably like if I headed like way over here, any tribes that I found over here would probably likely have a slightly different skin color. And so it's all done geographically. And I will also probably factor into that the climate of the area, so the biome and stuff. And, you know, if it's very cold and wet and they don't see much sun, they can have lighter skin and so on. And, you know, it's interesting because I'm hitting quite a lot of these sorts of issues. I'm hitting issues to do with like, you know, male versus female, what they should be capable of at various times, what's going to happen with pregnancy and with, in particular, like threats. You know, if you've got lions or predators, what's going to happen if they attack a pregnant woman or a baby or a child? You know, there's some kind of serious questions that need to be answered. But I think I am getting there. I think there are solutions, and I'm feeling okay about all of that. I think it's interesting, and I'm actually kind of excited about some of the implications of these questions and how the player might have to solve them. So yeah. So another thing that I worked on is facial animations. So I don't know if you can see very clearly there, but her eyes are actually closed, which I think is an important thing in a game like this. And yeah, that was again, you know, when before I sort of started adding all these little ones and stuff, I thought I really needed to deal with that problem, you know, figure out how I was going to do facial animations, get their eyes closing, get them to smile and you know, eat, you know, open their mouths and stuff. And I guess initially I was thinking maybe I'd use shape keys for that, but I decided to go with bones, and I think that is the right choice with how low poly these models are. So yeah, when I was sort of going through this whole sort of process, trying to figure out, you know, what exactly needed to be done for these models, I noticed that, you know, facial animations were a thing that really needed to be done. Hopefully one of these people is gonna wave sometime soon, and you'll be able to see that. Yeah, so as you can see, this guy is now actually eating. His mouth was moving. He was sort of looking the wrong direction. I've got some issues to deal with there. But yeah, they've actually got facial animation now. Their mouths can move, their eyebrows can move, and they can open their mouths. They've got teeth. They've got coloured eyes. There you go. They just sort of smiled a little bit as they waved. So that's a big kind of step forward towards finalizing these models, and they are really sort of getting there. I also worked on the joints and the animations, but yeah, the joints are a problem, and my solution I thought was going to be to vary the weights of the vertices, but it actually didn't really need to be done. I think it's more a matter of where the joints are positioned and where the triangles are positioned relative to the joints and things. So yeah, I've learned a huge amount. I've done a lot of experimenting over the last couple of weeks, and yeah, as you can see, you know, there's some interesting kind of extreme hair models and things that are going on while I just sort of experiment with everything. You know, there's still work to be done. But yeah, so he's as you can see when he's bending down, there's nothing too major happening with sort of joints popping out or anything. Yeah, there's improvements across the board with all of that. So as far as how I've done the facial animations, if I go into Blender, then you can sort of see exactly how the bones are set up. There's very few bones. I've tried to keep it, I think there's 15 now. I sort of was aiming for 16 maximum. So I've got 4 bones in the face. I've got the jawbone. Let me just go into pose mode, and that's it. So if I rotate around the x-axis, then that's how that works. And I'm actually really, really happy with how that ended up. You know, like that worked really well. Then we've got a sort of smile thing. You know, subtlety I think is key there. You don't want to go too far. And then we've got the eyelids, so I'll be able to make them blink, and obviously sleep, and eyebrows. So sort of, you know, surprised. Let me just straighten that up. Surprised or, you know, angry. And yeah, I mean, you know, there's a limited range of emotions here, but it's a good start, and you know, possibly there might be another bone or two I could add in, but yeah, I think that might be about it. And yeah, as I said, I'm working on hairstyles. I'm just trying to get a bit of variety in as well. I'll be able to make a bunch of different faces as well. So the reason that only her head is in here is because that's a separate model that's attached dynamically in the game, so you can sort of mix and match different body parts. And also the beards are interesting. So if I go in into here, he's got a beard like this. So they are also attached to all the bones, and in effect, the beard is the first kind of clothing. So, you know, it's deforming along with everything. And so, yeah, because I can sort of stick that in over the top, I now know how I'm going to go with clothes. And yeah, I think it's all going to work. It's like, you know, for the first time, everything's sort of coming together with all of the modeling and stuff. So yeah, that's quite exciting. So all of these different models and things, they're not just different models. The game knows that this is a child. It knows how old they are. They've got lifespans and they have relationships. So they can actually get pregnant and they can then have children. There's no fanfare or anything. They don't give labour. They won't give labour, I think. It'll just be a like, ta-da, they've got a baby. So that process is all working, and then they can eventually, after what is currently, they've got 20 days 20 days as an adult, and then they'll become an elder, and that's as far as I've got. So they can't currently die of old age, but they will. And yeah, I'm not quite sure yet how I'll deal with that. You know, there's some interesting things to deal with. You know, how to handle burial and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting, and yeah, I'm sure I'll figure out something. So there is still lots of work to do. At the moment, the kids still can like carry all the same kind of stuff as their parents. So there's issues with, you know, obviously like pregnant women carrying big logs around and stuff looks a bit off, and sort of, you know, hunting or whatever. And yeah, there's only so much that kids can do. I want them to have quite a lot of sort of playtime as well, you know, sort of chasing each other around. You know, they won't work such long hours and stuff. And you know, there's just so many little details that I can do here to just massively improve what's going on. Yeah, here's a kid carrying lots and lots of fruit there. But it's, you know, it's great seeing them actually sort of helping out and being part of the tribe as well. And I just think kids add so much to this game. It's just really cool having them in here. And yeah, I mean, that's sort of about it. I found modelling the children is quite an interesting thing, because I was so used to modelling adult-sized people, and then to actually try to model a child was a challenge. And I sort of had to scale everything down and then figure out what exactly is it that makes a child look different to an adult. And my first attempt sort of just looked like a mini adult, you know, a scaled down adult, and I slowly sort of got there. So yeah, that was interesting, but it turned out pretty well, I think. Yeah, so that's probably about all I have to show you for this week. Kind of a quick video, but yeah, you know, it's been a lot of work just on sort of tidying things up, and just trying out different techniques with all the models and stuff, and a lot of trial and error. And yeah, the whole Blender thing kind of got me stuck for a little bit while I was updating. But I'm in a pretty good situation now, sort of going forward, I think. And you know, I'm really happy with how the models are sort of looking in general. You know, there's work to do, but it's coming along, and yeah, it's pretty exciting, pretty cool having these larger tribes too, and getting a feel for how that's all going to feel when you've got more people. So once again, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Please wishlist Sapiens on Steam, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.